Hello, my friends. What a lovely, lovely Sunday it is. And I'm so excited to have my beautiful friend Janelle Anderson here with us and say hello. And
Hello.
what I do is I'm a relationship coach, and I invite people to play, dance, and embrace more in our everyday lives so we can have those more joyful, intimate, loving relationships. And Janelle, oh my gosh, she has so much. And it's also Sunday Soul Gold, so you get to see this beautiful spirit as she unfolds right before your eyes. And she tells you some really great things that she's learned about relationships and just shares some of her yumminess with you. So I'm so excited to have you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate it.
I'm telling you, we have so much fun. So you're in for a treat. And so the reason I have Janelle on today is because we talk a lot about relationships. She has an amazing program that she's designing and has designed, and it's about what happens when we try to hook our value and our worth with relationships. And I know I didn't really quite say that, so I'm going to let you explain that a little bit, and then we'll just start this out and see where it goes. What do you think?
Oh, I think that's great. So the program that I have, I teach people how to separate your value and your worth as a human being from any of your external labels or identities. So, where you work, who you're married to, what you drive, how much money you have, what you look like or what you don't look like, all those external things. I have a process that I take people through, and I help you separate that because it really helps you get back to what life was supposed to be about, and it creates a sense of freedom, and it creates a space for you to heal if something has happened in one of those external labels and your value was out there with it, and then something happened and your value was out there, and But today, Marie, we talked about, we're going to specifically focus in on what does it look like, how to recognize and how to unwind if you have hooked your value and worth as a person to a relationship status.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go.
Status. Yeah, and that you have to be in a relationship all the time in order to look good for people. And instead of really cherishing what you value in a relationship, right? So it's two different kinds of value. And
yes.
One of the things that I love is that Janelle waited a really long time to get in a relationship. So she has a relationship she cherishes and is so fulfilling. And so I thought maybe you could tell us a little bit about how you met this person, and because some people are like, well, how do you do that? I don't have any idea even like where to get started.
Well, there's a lot of jumping off points, but let's start at ground zero. If you are not in a healthy relationship with yourself, you're not going to be able to be in a healthy relationship. We're talking specifically about a romantic relationship with somebody else.
Exactly.
So I did a lot of work on me. I was willing to be alone and process the loneliness. It's not fun. It doesn't feel good. But I'll tell you what, you can process loneliness a lot easier than you can process being with the wrong person and being miserable. Misery seeps into every corner and crevice of your life. So don't do that. You can process loneliness. There are friends, there are families, there are things you can do that will help, carry you through the highs and lows while you are doing the work and waiting for the right person. But as you do the work, you're actually on the trajectory towards that person. And I'm a living testament of that. That's exactly what you are.
Wow.
And I got advice from the right people. So let me tell you, if you have a friend who always is in a relationship, she's in the grocery store, she gets a text message or a phone call, and she breaks up with her boyfriend while she's in the produce section, and by the time she gets over to the cereal aisle, she's already got a new date. No, do not be taking advice from her. The people that do that are relationship hoppers, and that's a telltale sign of someone who has attached their value and worth to their relationship status. They have no capacity to be on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two reasons for that. They're in an unhealthy, undefined relationship with themselves, which is your first problem. And they believe, most likely subconsciously, that their value and worth hinges upon that relationship status. So be mindful of who you're taking your advice from. I got a coach. I did. I said, all right, I've done all this work. What's the next step? I'm ready to bring him into my life. And by the way, where is he?
Captain Awesome. Captain Awesome.
Yes. You know, and here's the funny thing, because Marie, you've met him, you know. In our minds, men and women both, we have an ideal of what we believe our Captain Awesome or, you know, Miss Fantastic will be. We imagine their character qualities. We imagine their backgrounds, the things that they like.
How they look.
And we do imagine how they look and how they act and their age. And there's so many things we put this up in our head. You know, yes, do have the list. Know which items are your non-negotiables. Mm-hmm. But also be willing to go, what? Mm-hmm. I did not see that coming. You know, because here I am with the binoculars scanning the horizon, looking for Captain Awesome to come in for a landing. And I'm thinking, any minute. Any minute.
Any minute.
What the heck? Where is he? Well, what I wasn't expecting is for Billy Badass to pull up on a Harley and say, hello, gorgeous, get on. I'm like, just 1 second. First of all, I'm like, oh, he's talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that boy's talking to me. And you get all excited. But even in that moment, realize that's just a turning point. That's where you're going to start saying, okay, can I be in a healthy relationship with me, at the same time create a healthy relationship with this person? Because you see people that will lose themselves, they'll set themselves aside, their priorities, their goals, their ambitions, their
what they care about, what they value, everything. Yeah.
They take it all aside and they try to like Play-Doh and conform into this person, this version that they believe that the other person is wanting. And we've all done it. We do it in the workplace. We do it in friendships. And there are times for that where you gotta, but if you want to build a relationship with someone, you want to build a life with someone, you have to be the truest version of you, warts and all, the good, the bad, and the ugly, complete honesty, complete transparency. And if you have attached your value to your relationship status, you cannot execute that, because your subconscious brain, at all costs, its job is to protect you. And if your value is coming under any type of assault or questioning, your subconscious is going to go, no. And so that's why you see people contortioning and just trying so hard to get a round peg in a square hole.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fit, and it doesn't feel good. And it's not, you don't have to do that.
Well, that puts you on the hamster wheel too, going over and over in the same kind of relationships. Because don't you find that that advice that you just gave also applies to any relationship, whether you're in a relationship with a friend, your family, anybody like that. Same advice that you just gave applies to that. And
across the board.
Yeah. But one of the things that I heard you say that when you were in the process of dating that I remember is that if they're not willing to work on themselves, they're probably not going to be willing to work on the relationship, whether that's your relationship with, your significant other or any of your relationships. If they're not willing to work on themselves, it means that they're in it for themselves. Well, yes,
not
that, but it's not going to really work out that well.
No, it's not, because you have to look at the fruit on the tree. If you walk up to a tree and you're expecting, say, to get an apple, but you're standing underneath a pear tree, it's never going to work. So you have to look at, let's just be blunt, okay? We're all friends here, right?
Yep.
Every human being has work to do on themselves. Nobody is perfect. Nobody has all the answers. We're all in this together. And some of us have more answers in certain areas than others. That's why it's important to make friends everywhere you go, connect with resources, network with people, and enjoy the ride. Because Earth is just a giant waiting room with a really good magazine selection. So
I like it.
I make friends everywhere I go. My family's like, oh God, there she goes again. Okay. But if somebody isn't willing to work on themselves, again, because it's okay, we're all in this together. We all have work to do on ourselves constantly. Just so you know, it's an ongoing project. It's a project that will never end until you reach heaven. You'd be like, that was a lot of work. So
that was a lot of work.
Do the work. If they're not willing to do the work on themselves, and now you're in a relationship, and every relationship, personal, professional, romantic, you put two humans together and create a relationship dynamic. Every relationship requires maintenance and work.
Are you still there?
I'm here.
Sorry, I had a little glitch here. Yeah, exactly. People think that it happens overnight, because a lot of times they'll look at Joe and I and they'll go, oh, that's so nice and that's so wonderful. But relationships aren't like that.
No.
And it just magically happens for you guys. Well,
oh yeah.
The background, we've been together 24 years, so we have done that work, and it's a commitment that we make every single day.
Right.
It's something that we put time and energy into. Less time now that we've put time in for the last, few years. But yeah, agreed. It's something that we need to put some time into.
I was very lucky. My parents were together for 45 years, high school sweethearts, completely in love with each other. So I got to live in a most unbelievable love story. And I got to see the highs and the lows, the work, the challenges. I got to see it all play out my whole life. So I feel very fortunate that I had that experience. So you can imagine when my life unraveled and found myself looking at divorce papers, I'm like, no. This is where we roll up the sleeves. This is where okay, all right, here's the first road bump. We knew they were coming because, again, welcome to Earth.
Yes.
We're in a relationship. We're married. We've made a commitment. Let's do this. Okay, first road bump. Let's get on it. I'm ready to tackle this thing. First road bump. And he's like, Chip, please, gotta go. And I'm like, you're like one of those cartoon scenes where someone takes off so fast, they just leave you spinning in a cloud of dust. You're like,
what?
What just happened? So I understand what it feels like when you have made a commitment into a relationship and you're willing to do the work, but the other person is not. Yeah. And relationships take two people, whether it's the highest of highs or the lowest of lows and everything in between, it still always takes two people. So when you get into a situation where you have taken your value, that status, that pecking order of who you are, and you have attached it to that relationship, and something happens, there's a shift or a change or a loss in that relationship, your value just went down with the ship. See, and that's the problem. We were never meant to attach our value to external statuses like relationships or what you drive or what you look like or, what went to college, didn't go to college, or whatever it may be. But what I see a lot with people is in relationships, it's very easy to do. And there's not a lot of people in the world reminding us to keep our value internal and eternal. They're perfectly okay with letting us attach it to our job or our relationships. Mm-hmm. So we have labels for that. When the relationship changes, I'll give you one. You are the best parent ever. I mean, you're crushing it every day. You're raising fantastic human beings. They're off doing great things in the world, growing up, winning championships, bake sales. I mean, you're crushing it. You're on the cover of Awesome Parent magazine. Right? That's how good you are. And then your kids grow up and they start getting their own life. And then maybe they go away to college. They're not down the hall anymore. I'm not engaged. I'm not in control. I'm not monitoring. I'm not connected. And then they go into the next phase of their life where they find their own person and they start building their own families. And so there's been a shift in how you have been able to parent and interact with your children. There's a label for that. We call it empty nest syndrome. Well, the kids are gone. What do we do? What's happening now? This is also why you see a lot of marriages end at that 20, 25, 30-year mark. And people think, you've been doing this forever. What was the problem? Because the whole time they were in a relationship with each other, all they focused on, all the work that they did was on their individual status as parent.
Mm-hmm.
It never worked this way, so that when that part of their relationship and their world changed, they could process it, still have their value intact, and be willing to take the next step and do the work that needed to happen, because the kids didn't just grow up on dad, or they didn't just grow up on mom. They grew up on both of you. And so we have labels for that. We have empty nest syndrome. We have midlife crises, identity crises, because those are all examples of what happens when your value is outside of yourself.
And that you didn't grow and develop yourself along the way, right? Yeah.
You didn't do the work. So here we are right back at the beginning again. When you're in a relationship, you have to start with yourself. You have to start with the person in the mirror. And I can tell you, if you hear nothing that Marie and I are sharing today, I want you to hear these words right now. There is no one else out there like you.
No one.
There's never been another you. There will never be another you. Everything in the universe, I don't care if you call it God, source, whatever higher power, chose to make you. You are so valuable. So you have to be able to look in the mirror and say, my value is not because of my value, it just is.
It just is.
It just is. And everybody's value is that way. And the freedom and the, okay, this is awesome, it comes when you can get to that point in your head and your heart. It has to start with you. So when you start interacting in your relationships, whether it's a romantic relationship or family, friend, professional, now you start looking at people a little bit differently. It's like putting on X-ray glasses, and now you start looking around and you start meeting people at their value, not at their job status, not at your relationship status, not at what college you went to. No holds barred, plain, pure, unadulterated, pure value that just is. So
it's that divine essence that God made each of us, right? That divine essence of us.
Yes. Yes. It's, I mean, why me and why now?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
We do.
We're
all dependent on each other and connected.
And it's all interconnected. It's all interconnected. But here's the problem, Marie. We keep connecting with people based on where our external value is. So I can prove it to you. Here's a great example. You meet somebody new. Hi, my name's Janelle. Hi, my name's Bob. Hi, Bob, nice to meet you. What's the next question we ask?
What they do.
What do you do? Oh my God, I'm on a personal crusade to eradicate that question that early in conversation with people. If you're in a business networking association and that's the meeting, do it. But start meeting people at value. Not, I mean, I don't have kids. I was not blessed. I wanted kids. I wanted 4. I had a whole plan. I had it all worked out, and the universe went, oh, you're so cute. You have a plan. And you know what? Here I am, 47 years old, and it's okay. I'm living my life. But I was at a luncheon. I will never forget this. And there's about 8 or 9 of us women around the table, and we're just kind of starting to get started. People are still kibitzing and talking a little bit. And they're talking about their husbands and they're talking about their kids. And I'm just like, this is cool. I'm meeting all these people. I've never been to this restaurant. And hey, let's network, let's connect with each other and share. And they come around to me and they're like, well, hey, Janelle. I'm like, hi, I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for the invite. And they said, so are you married? And I was like, no.
Oh.
And suddenly they're like, and then they go, oh, well, do you have any kids? No. And I'm telling you, they were turning their backs to me like, we don't know what to do with this chick over here. They were grabbing onto each other like, hey, Sally, how'd it go with that the other day?
Oh.
They did not know what to do with a peer, with a woman that was not in the same place because they had put a lot of their value and their identity as the wife and the mom. Now, I was a wife at one point, so I get it. And as far as the parent, we all have children in our lives that we interact with. I have nieces, I have godchildren, I have a nephew. So don't discount somebody if it doesn't look exactly the way yours does. But man, that was harsh, right? I was like,
yeah. Can I ask you a question? I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm really curious. Do you have a better question to ask?
I do. It's my favorite.
Yay, I'm glad I asked.
Yes, because it's not going to be about anything external. And I want you to answer this in like 3, 2, 1, gut response.
You're gonna scare me
about it. It's fine. I'm not going to ask you the nuclear launch codes or anything.
Okay,
I just want to, ready?
Okay.
So, hi, my name's Janelle. Your name's Marie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'd like to get to know you a little bit better. You seem like a cool person. So could you tell me, what's your favorite thing about you?
I think I see the beauty in things, in people, and I don't know. I think joy is what I'm about, joy and play. So it's like going out there and finding out, giving joy and bringing joy. So that's
okay.
So
your favorite thing about yourself is, if I'm putting this in a little nugget, is your abundance to give, find, and relish in joy.
Yes, that is it.
That's awesome.
And tell me who Janelle is. What's your favorite thing about you?
Oh, girl, hands down, it's my sense of humor and my kindness.
This is true. If you've not been to one of Janelle's comedy things, you're in for a treat. This girl can make you laugh like where your belly hurts.
And you know what? That's food for the soul. My sense of humor has rescued me out of some really deep, dark pits, some really ugly stuff. Like if you're in a bad place, I'm probably the person you want to go with you, because you're like, yeah, that's on fire. Did you bring any marshmallows? We could use this for a while. I'm also known as the goddess of positivity. It's like number one.
I think that's like my number 2 or number 3. So yeah, I'm pretty positive.
Number 1. But here's what's crazy, Marie. I'll tell you what happens when I ask people that question. Hi, what's your favorite thing about you? Here's what's weird. It's not a trick question. Mm-mm. You can't get it wrong. Mm-mm. It's your favorite thing about you. It's all the things that make you you. What's your favorite? What do you love? What's the fun one? What do you like? And here's where my heart just kind of goes, ooh. People go, what?
What?
I'm like, what is your favorite thing about you? I've never been asked that. And they have to think about it. You should know your favorite thing about you as quickly as you know your name.
Are you thinking they're worried about judgment? A little bit of judgment?
I think because we're so worried about being egotistical, mm-hmm. or fluffing ourselves up. But again, that's false humility.
It is.
That's not helping anybody. But again, being able to meet someone at a place of value that has nothing to do with this status or that, or you have this or you don't have it, or you did or you didn't do this or whatever. If people can start connecting, again, this is what we talked about, it has to start with you. If people can start connecting with their favorite thing about themselves, and what I love about you, Marie, is your play, your ability to go out and play and encourage us to play. So if my favorite thing is my sense of humor, and I want to take it out and I want to play, and I call you and say, Marie, I need to take my sense of humor and play. Let's go. So do something silly and fun and bring those two together. So now you and I are building a friendship and a relationship on a completely different level than what I do for a living or what you do for a living or where we live or what we drive or whatever, or which side of the aisle you vote on or whatever. Now we're just being humans. Now that you practice that a little bit, now you start going, where's the guy or where's the girl or where? So that when you guys come together, because you've done the work here, your value is internal and eternal. You've recognized that it is not because of, it just is. Now when you connect with that person, whoa, my
The angels sing. Well, and when it's not working, you just do something different. You change a pattern or a behavior. It's not a wound that's like really deep. That
Well, and you can connect with the value of yourself. Now, the next thing that comes in is you start to have an understanding and an agreement and a willingness to have standards, to create boundaries, and to say things that are or not okay. Now you start crafting the environment in which you're going to let these relationships happen. So instead of repeating the same behavior, you just keep dating the same person over and over and over, and you're like, they promised me they would never do that again. Oh, people. If they're not willing to do the work on themselves, they are not willing to do the work on the relationship, because it all comes, you are responsible for yourself. So if you come to the relationship with all this junk and all this bleh, and everything that's still buzzing around and all the old junk and history and everything, you haven't cleared it out, and someone just vomits that all over the table and you're like, yeah, I totally want to be in a relationship with this.
Well, I'm acting like vomit. I'm going to get vomit.
Thank you. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. And then you call me at midnight one time going, oh my God, Janelle, I just broke up with my boyfriend because he's just not the one for me. He just treats me so horribly. He's just constantly like just vomiting all this verbal harassment all over me. Oh my God, and I'm thinking, he did this on your first date. We talked about it. Why are you surprised? How did you not see this coming? He practically gave you the date and the time and the tracking number of the next time the emotional UPS was going to deliver this to your front door. Yep. I didn't see it coming because you don't want to see it coming. And why don't you want to see it coming? Because everything that makes me valuable is attached to this relationship. So I'm going to set aside all my standards and all my boundaries and all my safety mechanisms because, God almighty, I need a relationship. Really?
Really.
But what's truly, really magnificent is I've seen people get out of this pattern. I've watched it. I've watched them finally hit the rock bottom and say, Janelle, you're my friend. Will you just kind of be that accountability partner for me? Will you hold my hand through this process? I know that I need to be alone for a while. I know that I have work to do on myself. I've got to separate my value from my relationship status.
Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful thing to witness, but
it is.
It's being willing to go in there, and I call it mining. So you look at all that darkness, and there's some ugly in there, and you just start mining. And you go, okay, so this is ugly, but what did I learn from it? What did I get from it? How does that add to who I am, and you just keep going through those things, and like you said, separating what is truly me and what is just truly an experience that I had to help me understand who I am. And
Yeah.
sometimes those relationships build on each other so that we can get that wonderful relationship that we really want. And we learn it's okay to be picky. I mean, somebody's
Please,
like,
for the love of God,
huh?
please, I'm begging you, please be picky. If you have ever had a friend or a relative tell you, because it's been thrown at me, well, Janelle, you're just too picky. Your standards are just too high.
Run.
What? I'm talking, really? So no. Those are well-meaning people that probably truly do care about you, but they don't know what they don't know, because they're not living inside of you. They're not going to be in that relationship. They're not going to be having to process what they bring to the table and what you bring to the table. Remember, everybody's relationship cocktail is different. So whereas you may bring this to the table and it didn't mesh well with the last person, you go, oh, apparently toothpaste and orange juice don't taste good together. Okay, we all know that. Well, if you're the orange juice and the next person you're looking for is maybe like, I don't know, champagne, it's like, oh my gosh, we have a mimosa. Great. No, your standards are not too high. Maybe that's the best fit for you. So I really want to encourage people, have the standards. Stop settling. So I'll give you a personal experience for me. I'm 47 years old, and I've been single for a very, very long time. Not that I wasn't dating people, but I had a standard that I wanted a relationship that met certain expectations of mine. And you know what? I held out, and the whole time I continued to do the work on me. People are like, well, you should just, go on Tinder and Match.com and all these other things. And I tried that, and there's a whole comedy routine about that. I'll tell you.
That's another story.
There's some comedy content right there. But the kind of person and the framework that I was wanting to connect with, I held out for. And when I finally did the last piece of work on me, I'm not kidding you guys, it was like someone flipped the switch, and a person that I'd been friends with for a couple of years, all of a sudden, he's like, hey, and I'm like, hey, what? Why is this guy dancing around in front of me? What are you doing? My friends are like, Janelle, he likes you. Nuh-uh. I was wrong. Yeah, he likes me. But what's crazy, Marie, you talk about the list. Everything, all the non-negotiables, everything that truly meant real to me, that truly met my standards, that truly met my heart and my soul and the kind of life that I want to craft with somebody, it's exactly what showed up. Now, what would have happened if when I went out on that date, we'll call him Captain Guinness, because all he did was slam Guinness the whole night. Sport, okay, by the end of this date. What would have happened if I had lowered the standards, put my needs aside, simply to be in a relationship and have someone to go to a movie with and coffee? And if I tried to force something with Captain Guinness, okay, now I'm off the market, I'm not being seen, my sparkle is not up in the universe going, hey, here's Janelle, here I am. And Captain Austin would have come along, and guess what? I'd have missed it.
You wouldn't even recognize Captain Austin.
We wouldn't have recognized each other. And here's the thing you have to think about. If you are currently in a relationship that your soul knows the answer, humans are very smart. And you know that and maybe it's a really small, still voice way deep down inside, and you just don't really want to listen to it because you're scared of being alone. I'm scared of you being attached to this person and that person being attached to you. And meanwhile, the love of your life drives down the street and says, oh, she's with someone. Okay, it's not her, and goes by. And the love of his life drives down and goes, oh, look at him. Oh, but he's got her. You guys are almost in a hostage situation that you're holding on to each other for the sake of, I don't want to be alone. And you're missing it. You're missing a most beautiful opportunity to be with someone, the right someone who's going to recognize your value that just is and lift it up more, lift you up and connect with you on a level you could not have possibly imagined, because you don't know what you don't know. But for those of us that have been through the whole gamut, you know, the experience you have, Marie, being with Joe, I mean, I love watching you guys interact. It makes me joyful just to watch you guys. You know,
I like little kids.
in the most beautiful, loving way. So if I'm willing to do the work on me, take the risk of being alone for a little while, in the big scheme of life, you guys, it's a little while, so that the right person can come along and blow your mind and open your heart and make you feel like $1,000,000, it's worth it. It's so worth it. If everybody in the world could feel like that, what would our culture be like?
Yeah, we'd level up the whole world.
If we could constantly be meeting people at value, willing to do the work on ourselves when we're alone and when we're together, encourage people and support people as they're doing their work, create an energy and an opportunity in which the right people can be meeting the right people. I mean, it's mind-blowing. What would that do to your family? If you just thought about, you know, your mom, your dad, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts and uncles, your family. I have more family than I do family. What would that look like? If everybody you cared about, and starting with you, met their person because they were willing to take a risk, because they were willing to separate their value from their status, willing to be alone a little while, willing to do the work, and we'll help you.
Mm-hmm.
If more people did that, and everybody was operating at a level up here in love and in truth and in willingness, and we met everybody at value.
Woo! I have a baby challenge, and you can add to this.
Okay.
So I think the baby challenge. So when I was in India a couple of years ago, I was in a little workshop, and we actually introduced ourselves by who we were on the inside. Like, hi, I am joy and creativity and love, or, you know, whatever those values were. And I didn't get to go in the actual workshop. I just heard about it. So when I got up on stage, I said, hi, my name is Marie, and I am joy, and I am love, and I am connection. And just to say it out loud was really cool. Yeah. But then you're already doing that relationship, just like you were saying. So what if we challenged people? So how would you introduce yourself? And I don't know, you can add to that whatever you would like to, but then I want them to know how to find you. And so what would you like to add to that?
So I want to accept that challenge.
Okay.
And I want people underneath this video, I want you to write 3 things. Think of it like your first, middle, and last name. Three bits.
Yeah.
It's going to help you connect with your favorite things about you. So if you run across somebody that I've coached and talked about, meet people at value, don't ask them what they do for a living. Don't ask them, what are you driving? Who are you married to? And you ask them what their favorite thing is about themselves. This pairs so beautifully with this. So, okay, I'll go first.
Good.
My name is Janelle Anderson, and I am encouragement. I am love, and I am humor.
Ooh, love it.
I got red hair, so it's a little fiery too.
Hey, that's what we got in common. Hi, yeah. I'm Marie Wallace, and I am joy, and I am love, and I just love connecting with people. It's so nice to have relationships. really good, honest, intimate, deep relationships. So yeah.
Right.
So I like that idea. Post it in your comment below.
Right
Tell us
below.
who you are.
Yeah. And if you want more information about how to separate, maybe for you it's a relationship. And I have tools I can take you through to help you assess if you have over-attached your value to an external piece. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's your career. Maybe everything all about you is about your career, and something's about to shift in that. Let's get you in a place where when that shift happens, maybe it's your kids growing up. Maybe it's, your appearance has changed. Maybe we're all aging. Okay. So if you want to reach out to me, you can find me on Facebook at Janelle Anderson Life, because life gets lifey, as my friend Shirley G says.
Yeah.
So I've seen so many people that have already been impacted by this. I mean, kids, and this isn't a woman thing.
Mm-mm.
It's a human thing.
Mm-hmm.
Women, men, professionals, teenagers, kids. I've had people come together and say, well, okay, well, let's talk about that friendship and why it's dissolving and how to protect your value. If you've got someone that's attacking a part of your status and your values out there, getting the snot kicked out of it every day, and you're like, wow, why can't I move past this? Reach out. There's things that we can do. There's things that we can do.
And if you're just looking for how to keep building on you and your relationships, I have the You Project, and you can find me on mariesgold.com, and we can coach you through it. But we also, Janelle and I are part of Love and Romance Project. So, and some of our very favorite people and new people, but we have things going on all the time. And together we can do this. We can make some beautiful relationships and level up this world. We started with the Valley, Treasure Valley in Idaho, but it's getting bigger, right, Miss Janelle?
Are you serious? Leveling up? Yeah, I just leveled up on a reality show in New Zealand called Awakening Giants. And I'm glad to announce that I've also been invited back to do season 2.
Yay!
All locations around the world, so not just 1 but 4, because it's about creating positive change. It's about lifting up people and doing things better and doing it different and disrupting the current media right now, where everything is so based on negativity and harshness and hatred and competition. Even though this is a reality show, there's no competition. I'm not winning a car or a rose or a trip to Tahiti. All of those would be okay. So if anybody has those, I'll take them. Yeah, and what's really cool is there was actually 3 of us from Boise. It was kind of a beautiful kismet that 3 of us from Boise got accepted to go on location to New Zealand. And there's actually going to be an event. Stay tuned. Watch Janelle Anderson Life on Facebook, probably in September, where the 3 Boise Giants will be live together and talking about that experience,
So cool.
and how we can help you awaken your own inner giant.
I'm excited about that. I love that you took your quality of positivity and you're spreading it around the world, and your humor and all those lovely things about you. We have to go, but it's not our last time being together, because if you know Janelle and I, we love hanging out with each other and we have some fun, as you can tell.
Well, and I just want to give you a shout out and thank you for meeting a need, because the Love and Romance conference that we did last fall was a huge hit, and everybody's like, more, give us more, give us more, give us more. And so thank you for stepping out and doing it again in March. And thank you for letting me partner with you and MC that event, that conference that weekend. It was amazing. I know so many people in the room, I was hearing them talk about how profound it was and what they learned. And I mean, single people in relationships, it's just, you hit it over the fence. You and Joe really just home run. And thank you so much for continuing to do that in the Treasure Valley, and let people come and see your joy.
Thank you. And the best part of it too is that everyone in the room, everyone in every chair, in every seat, has something to contribute in that room, and that's what I love. So we're facilitating the beauty in everyone, and each of us has a piece of that puzzle. So I hope people will come and join us and share their knowledge, because we have something to learn from everyone, whether it's a baby or a 94-year-old or higher. But thank you for being here today. And for the rest of you, may you find the gold in you. May you find the gold in others. And may you find the gold in every single day. But especially look here first. Yeah, there's a lot of beauty there. Thank you, Miss Janelle. Love
Thank
you,
you.
girl.
Love
Bye-bye.
you too. Bye.